Hi children, hope all of you are doing well. This is our fourth session. In the last session, we'll learn about inside our earth. The three layers of the earth, the crust, the mantle and the core. I hope all of you drawn the picture in your notebook. Today, we are going to learn the remaining part of this lesson, the different types of rocks and rock cycle. You just look around your surrounding. You can see various types of rocks. Some of them are very hard, some of them are soft, they are different in color, in texture or their combination, etc. You just collect some of the rocks around your surrounding and pick up and find out the difference between the rocks. We are going to learn about the different types of rocks and their formation. Let's see. Our Earth's crust is made up of various types of rocks. Depending upon their formation, they are named differently. Rocks can be made of one mineral or two or more minerals. These are formed because of the continuous process happened inside and outside of our Earth. Rocks. Any natural mass of mineral matter that makes up the earth crust is called a rock. Rocks can be different color, size and texture. Based on the formation, there are three major types of rocks. They are igneous rocks, sedimentary rocks and metamorphic rocks. Igneous rocks. We learned that there is molten magma inside our earth. When this molten magma cools, it becomes solid. Rocks thus formed are called igneous rocks. They are also called primary rocks. 95% of the rocks found on the earth crust made up of this way. There are two types of igneous rocks. They are intrusive igneous rocks and extrusive igneous rocks. How are extrusive igneous rocks formed? In the last session, you watched a video about how the volcano erupts. Can you just imagine lava coming out from the volcanoes? Lava is actually a fiery red molten magma coming out from the interior of the earth on its surface. When this molten lava comes on the earth's surface, it rapidly cools down and becomes solid. Rocks formed in such a way on the crust are called extrusive igneous rocks. They have a very fine grained structure, for example, basalt. The Deccan Plateau is made up of basalt rocks. The second type of igneous rock is intrusive igneous rocks. Sometimes the molten magma cools down deep inside the earth's crust. Solid rocks so formed are called intrusive igneous rocks. Since they cool down slowly, they form large grains. Granite is an example of intrusive igneous rocks. Next type of rock is sedimentary rocks. The rocks roll down, crack and hit each other and are broken down into small fragments. These small particles are called sediments. These sediments are transported and deposited by wind, water, etc. These loose sediments are compressed and hardened to form layers of rocks. These types of rocks are called sedimentary rocks. These rocks may also contain fossils of plants and animals. Fossils are remains of dead plants and animals. For example, sandstone is made up of grains of sand. The third category of rock is metamorphic rocks. Igneous and sedimentary rocks can change into metamorphic rocks under great heat and pressure. For example, clay changes into slate and limestone into marble. Rocks are very useful to us. The hard rocks are used for making roads, houses and buildings. The Taj Mahal is made up of white marble. The Red Fort is made up of red sandstone. Next is rock cycle. One type of rock changes to another type under certain conditions in a cyclic manner, like a water cycle. We learned that when the molten magma cools, it solidifies to become igneous rocks. These igneous rocks are broken down into small particles called sediments, and these sediments are transported and deposited to form sedimentary rocks. When the igneous and sedimentary rocks are subjected to heat and pressure, they change into metamorphic rock. The metamorphic rock, which are still under great heat and pressure, melt down to form molten magma. This molten magma again can cool down and solidify into igneous rocks. This is a continuous process. One rock can be changed into another type. So, rock cycle means the process of transformation of the rock from one to another. Let's listen to a video and understand it better.
Rock cycle. Rocks are the most common material on Earth. Some rocks are made up of just one mineral, while others are made up of two or more minerals. Rocks are constantly being formed, worn down, and then formed again. This is known as the rock cycle, though this cycle might take thousands and millions of years. Depending on their origin or formation, rocks can be mainly of three types: igneous rocks, sedimentary rocks, and metamorphic rocks. The word igneous means born of fire or heat. It is made when the molten magma from deep within the earth cools and turns it to solid rock. When the magma cools and hardens slowly below the earth's surface, they form intrusive igneous rocks. For example, granite. These rocks have larger crystals. When the magma gets over the surface and flows out as lava during a volcanic eruption, it cools down and hardens quickly to form extrusive igneous rocks. For example, lava rock or pumice. These rocks have smaller crystals.
Forces of nature like wind, rain, heat, snow, ice together act on the exposed rocks on the Earth's surface to gradually erode, weather and transport the broken bits. Old mountains are specially subjected to this slow gradual erosion.
Broken bits are carried down by rivers and streams as sediments. When the water slows down enough, the sediments settle down at the bottom of lakes and oceans. Over many years, layers of these sediments pile over each other to be cemented together and harden to form sedimentary rocks. Most rocks found on the Earth's surface are sedimentary rocks. For example, sandstone, limestone, and shale. Sedimentary rocks often contain fossils in them. With layers of sediments piling up on top, dead animals and plants settle at the bottom. They get compressed to eventually turn into fossil fuels. Metamorphic rocks are those that change form due to the application of tremendous heat and pressure. When the Earth's crust moves, it causes rocks to get squeezed so hard that the heat causes the rocks to change. Also, extreme pressure under many thousands of feet of bedrock can crush the rock to form a metamorphic rock. Metamorphic rocks are originally igneous or sedimentary rocks which have transformed due to great heat or pressure. For example, the sedimentary rock limestone metamorphoses into marble and igneous rock granite changes into gneiss. Each of the rock types, that is igneous, sedimentary and metamorphic, can be recycled into the other two. These dynamic transitions occur through geologic time. Igneous, metamorphic or sedimentary rock can be eroded and weathered down into smaller fragments and carried away as dissolved material. Over time, the fragmented materials accumulate, get buried by additional materials, and are cemented into sedimentary rocks. Igneous, sedimentary or metamorphic rocks exposed to high temperatures or pressures can be changed physically or chemically to form a different rock called metamorphic rock. When sedimentary, metamorphic or igneous rocks are pushed deep under the Earth's surface, they may melt into magma. This magma, when cooled, solidifies into an igneous rock. Erosion is a key part of the rock cycle. Erosion happens mainly as a result of weathering, which is the effect of water, temperature and wind on the landscape. Water causes much erosion. Acid rain, chemicals in the air combined with precipitation, dissolves certain rocks that are sensitive to acid. Certain rocks that are soluble in water dissolve when they come in contact with groundwater. Heavy rains, floods and fast-moving rivers break away and carry rocks. Similarly, waves on the beach continuously smash against the rocks, causing them to crumble gradually. Glaciers pick up large rocks and scrape bedrock while moving down its course. The freezing and melting of ice causes cracks on the mountains. These cracks widen and crumble with repeated freeze and thaw cycle over a period of time. Wind as an agent of erosion is usually effective in dry desert-like areas. It blasts away layers of rocks, carrying them as it blows. Earth's crust is composed of tectonic plates which are constantly moving at a very slow rate. However, when these plates collide, it causes friction, and this generates tremendous heat. This causes the rocks to continuously recycle and change from one form to another. Also, the Earth's internal heat and pressure causes the rocks to metamorphose, causing them to crumble under pressure or crystallize. Metamorphosis can occur in rock when they are heated to 300 to 700 degrees Celsius. The characteristic of a rock is also an important factor that contributes to the rock cycle. Softer rocks tend to break up easily. Falling rocks along a cliff also causes other rocks to break. Soil containing chemicals reacts with some rocks, changing them from one form to another. Also, plants seeking nutrients from soil and growing bigger tend to crack the rocks. The rock cycle continues. New rocks are formed and are changed from one form to another. Any given rock can undergo any part of the cycle any number of times, and this rock cycle never stops.
Children, a worksheet for you. In the notebook, you want to draw the diagram showing the rock cycle. The picture you will get from the textbook. This is on page number 9, figure 2.4. I hope all of you understood the lesson clearly. Draw the row cycle in your notebook. Read the textbook well. I will send the note. Write down the notes. If you have any doubts, we have a doubt clearing session, or I will call you a Zoom meeting. That time you can clear your doubts. Thank you, children.